Stay tuned for the lesson. Hello. It's Tariq B, and thank you guys for clicking on this video to see what I got stored for you guys. And I'm back again with another YouTube video. This is a commentary one, so it's not the same as my last few ones. Oh yeah, tune into my other YouTube videos I posted with me doing covers on songs and whatnot. Give me your opinions. I'm here for it. But this video is about the reality TV and the exploitation of African Americans. My last couple of videos that I've done before, it's kind of all been about the exploitation of black people, black Americans, black actors, black musicians, whatnot, and how it's become easy to do it. And with these reality TV shows, like you got Zeus, you got Bravo, you got what is it called? VH1, you got Now That's TV. Most of the people who get most of their generated views are mostly people of color. Most of the people who go on their shows are people of color. Now I know Bravo has a fair share amount of reality TV shows that mostly have specifically white people, white women on there, but it's specifically that one show, Real Housewives, that that one gets the most views. Now, if you look deeply into reality TV was really the shit at one point. From like the early 2000s to like the 2010s to the mid 2010s, reality TV was its peak. You had Bad Girls Club, you had Love and Hip Hop, you had Jersey Shore, you had a Teen Mom, you had Super Nanny. You just had so many diverse reality TV shows, and it was, I guess, quote unquote fun. You had the Flavor of Love. They were just more fun. They was producing so many reality TV shows. Now, as you get into the late 2010s, reality TV was pretty much dead. Love and Hip Hop was just recycling the same old drama, the same old cast members. That it's like, okay, when is this gonna add something new? We need a new cast. And reality TV shows were just pretty much dead as we got to like 2016, and then into the 2020 decade. It was dead. Now, then we got into the 2020 decades, 2021, 2022. That was the real rise of reality TV when it came back onto us. But it wasn't the same format that it kind of used to be. You see, nowadays, reality TV shows is really revolved around just drama, revolved around fights and violence and derogatory language, like just bad language. That wasn't the case before. You always have reality TV shows that was centered around fights and drama. Of course, it's a reality TV show. But the ones that come out now are just all about fights. Like people aren't tuning in to your casual reality TV show anymore. You got your millennial and your Gen Xers who still tune into, Love and Marriage, 100 pound, 300 pound life, shit like that. You got those people who still tune into like the simple, casual reality TV shows, but I'm talking about the younger audience, the younger millennials, and the younger millennials, like the 90s one, like the mid 90s to the Gen Zers, and even Gen Alpha. We're the ones that's the new wave of the consumers with these reality TV shows. We're more so into the fights. We're more into the drama. So it's like, but it's when you look at shows like Zeus Network, Now That's TV, VH1, it's all centered around people of color, and 95% of those people are black people. So it's almost starting to turn into exploitation. And if you notice, all those black people, they all come from the same environment. But let's really talk about it. So one of the main topics I'm really finna be talking about in this video is Zeus Network. If you guys don't know what Zeus Network is, Zeus Network was founded in, I think, 2015. 2015, and it's owned by Lemuel Pepper, or Lemmy Pepper, whatever the hell you want to call him. And it's also owned by ex-Viners like King Batch. You know, when the Zeus Network originally came about, it wasn't centered around drama and fights. It was always about giving content creators and people online who were influencers, giving them a chance to tell their story, broadcasting their stories into a reality TV show. That's really what it's all about. And it was more lighthearted. And Lemmy Pepper, he's been in the film industry for a while. He's produced a couple of shows, like gospel shows, just lighthearted stuff all around. But that wasn't picking up the views. That wasn't getting the views that he aimed for. And he's been in this film industry for a while, so he's been testing things out. So as you get into like 2015 when it was started all the way to 2018, they was just doing lighthearted shit. They wasn't really putting out what they're putting out now. But 2018 is when you saw its shift in what they were putting out. They started putting out more love shows. Um, I think it was like the TT Finds Love Show. I'm gonna show y'all a picture of it. The TT Find Love shows. If you guys don't know who that TT guy or girl is, they was an influencer. They did funny videos, the making fun of black women and shit. Black men putting on a wig, a dress, whatever the hell, and mimicking black women. Furthermore, in this stereotype and why black women feel like they're unprotected and why people look at black women like they're just these ghetto hood rats with no class and anything. Sometimes it really does suck when you realize that those ideas are perpetuated by your own people. But anyway, that's another topic for another video. So they started producing more love shows. They had TT Finds Love, they had B Simone, they had Black China Mom Finding Love, but it was that one show that really put eyes on Zeus Network, and that show was Tokyo Toni, her life story. It was a show about her life and her relationship with her mom, because that was all people was really focused on, her dysfunctional relationship with her mom. Now, if you guys don't know who Black China is, she's a successful Instagram model, video vixen. She was very famous in the 2010s and still is pretty relevant now. She's just changed her life around, which prayers to her, good for her. She was popping. She put eyes on Zeus Network. So she came up with that show about just what she got going on, and then she showcased her relationship with her mother. Now, if you guys watch that show or watch any clips with it, it was pretty nasty. It was pretty nasty with the things that they were saying to each other. Tokyo Toni, as a mother, you should really not behave like that when it comes to your child. You can feel however you want to feel, but the things that she done said to her child, like "I hate you," "I'm gonna beat your ass," it's crazy. Like, I would hate to have a mother who talks to me like that. Prayers to Black China, but yeah, that was really what was putting eyes on Zeus, just her whole relationship with her mom. And that showed Zeus right then and there that this is what people like. This is what people want to see. They love the drama. They love the fighting. They love the arguments. Because when we try to put out that peaceful gospel shit, that wasn't getting views. So once that happened, that's what really made them start getting eyes on them. And it took off from then and there. So Lemmy Pepper was supposed to be coming out with another season with Black China. It just never happened. And he was partnered with people like Ray J. Now this is 2018. Like I said, this right now I'm in the 2018 timeline. So as you move forward into 2019 to like 2020 and early 2021. So they were just doing simple things like The Conversations, which was also co-produced by Ray J and his wife Princess, or whatever they are right now. But it was co-produced by Ray J, and it was just the main plot of the show was just two influencers, two reality TV shows, two known people who have beef, who may have had beef on another show, who may have beef on the internet, on social media. They're known people who had beef. So they sit down, they have a conversation. Now, as you guys know, if you guys know about Zeus, it's Zeus. So they almost never hash anything out. They spend most of the time cussing each other out, throwing insults, and then sometimes it ends up in a fight because that's what people wanted to see. So I remember the stars being two stars from Love and Hip Hop. It was Tommy and Akbar, and then you had Princess and Ray J doing their shit. And yeah, and you had it was just revolving. It was just the conversation. That was really what was giving them, more clout. But they really took off with the love shows. And the one love show that again put more eyes onto Zeus was One More Chance. Now, One More Chance. So prior to One More Chance, again, I would see Zeus. Like, I've seen Zeus back in like 2018 when it was doing the TT Finds Love show and the Black China show. But I never really knew Zeus wasn't an established wasn't an established network for me. Like I just seen it, but I was like, okay, this is just a random show. But I never really looked at Zeus, as I looked at like Netflix or something. But when One More Chance came around, that's what really put specifically my eyes on that network. Because I remember my mom used to watch that show and I thought it was entertaining. You had your funny characters on there who were just on the show for a bunch of laughs until they didn't need to laugh at them anymore and they sent their ass home. You had your stereotypical um big black woman who came across as a mimic, a big black woman who loved to eat and was ghetto and rowdy and loved to fight. That lady was Rolly. Now, when I first saw Rolly, I'm like, this girl is just a stereotype. They are going to milk out that the big black girl who loves to eat and that is rowdy, sassy, and aggressive and loves to fight. That's how they was trying to milk her out on that show. They always used to call her big. They used to make fun of her weight. That's where her name came from. Roly Poly Snack Mills. That was her original name. But Roly, she never really conformed to that. Like I'm not gonna say she's still on baddie, she's still fighting and rowdy and all that shit, but she didn't really play that part that I thought she was gonna be. That I thought she was gonna be. She's a lot more serious and you could say put together than the typical stereotype that you would see from a big black woman. That stereotype. She wasn't coming across as all sassy and that she just loved to eat food and shit. I feel like her first season she did try to milk that out a little bit with pulling out snacks out of her tits and shit. It was her first time on reality TV. That's how they was trying to play her. But she eventually ventured out of that just a small bit. But yeah, you had your trans trans female or not so trans female. I mean trans woman, not so trans woman. Mangina. I also thought Mangina was very funny. He was like, it was entertainment. One More Chance was the first season was your typical love show. They had their little fights or arguments, but they were there for quote unquote love. Now, that was what put my eyes on that show. I like that show. But you go to season two, it felt less like it was about love. It just felt like it was more about clout and fights and drama and arguments, which is what the viewers was amping up. That's what they wanted to see. And you had your returning cast member. Some people like Rolly came back and whatnot. But One More Chance was a hit. It was a hit for that time. And it really did put eyes on Zeus. Now, Zeus and Chance, who was the guy who was trying to find love on the show, he basically, he was basically the host of the show. It revolved around him and his brother, who was trying to seek out girls who might be the perfect one for him. Chance and Lemmy Pepper, they fell off. They're not cool anymore. We were supposed to get a season 3 of One More Chance, but we never got it. So, if as far as I remember, they fell off because of conflicts and just regular management conflict. But Chance started going off on Zeus. He started talking about how Lemmy is disrespectful. Lemmy is basically a dirty, low down, dirty bag, and how one of his castmates was the original Scotty. One of the castmates was an original Scotty, where they basically played her out. They basically degraded her and used her and sexually imitated her. He basically just exposed all of that. So him and Lemmy are not cool no more. Just like Lemmy and Rage are not cool no more. But when everybody falls out with Lemmy, they all say the same thing. Now, you got Jocelyn Carabat. And that blew up. When I came off, that really blew up. You had the double homicide thing, which I felt like was very insensitive. I really couldn't find that funny. When you first see it, it was a little giggle, but over time, it's like that girl was expressing what she was going through and how the situation that she was in hurt her, and then you just make a joke about it. Like that's very insensitive. That's my problem with the internet. People are just so mean, but I'm not gonna really get into that. But you had Jocelyn Carabat. That show is still going on to this day, and it put a lot of eyes on Zeus. Jocelyn be doing her thing. They also don't. It faces a lot of backlash. It hasn't really with the last 2 seasons, but it does face a lot of backlash because of how Jocelyn talks to the ladies and how sometimes she could be a bully to them and intimidate them with the power that she has, giving them no choice but to let her disrespect them. And sometimes even her boyfriend would get rowdy and aggressive with them. And one time he's actually fought one of the cast members, which got hella backlash. There was a lawsuit involved. They eventually settled. And that's not really what I'm trying to talk about in this video. But Jocelyn Carabet really put Zeus on the map. Was one of the shows that really put Zeus on the map. Now, we were in the 2020-2021 timeline. We're still in the 2021 timeline. So you got the show Baddies. Baddies, which is a show inspired from the hit reality TV show hit Bad Girls Club. I'm sure you guys know what Bad Girls Club is. It was a hit back in the late 2000s and early 2010s. It came to an end in 2017. It ran for like 2016, 17 seasons. And yeah, it was a Matrix. So Baddies is basically inspired by that show, but Bad Girls Club was just circled around a group of ladies who would basically just sit in a house and they didn't have their phone, they didn't have TV, they would just sit in the house and fight and argue and go to the club. That was really what it was circling around. But the first few seasons was about, can these girls handle the pressures? Can these girls walk away from an argument? Can these girls change? But when it start taking off, when the fights start getting popular, when people started tuning in to see the fights, that's all the show was about. It was all about the fights. It was not about these girls changing for the better, overcoming their trauma. It just became about the fights. See how it's the same thing with Oxygen and Zeus. It was all about change and positivity at first, but when people started tuning into the fights, it became about the drama and the fights and the exploitation of these women, these young women who could potentially damage their reputation by the image that they're showing of themselves. So, Baddies it comes from Bad Girls Club. We all know that. And one of the EPs of this show, or producers of this show, she doesn't own this show, but that lady is Natalie Nunn. Natalie Nunn is a 40-year-old reality TV star. She's been literally doing that since I was 4 years old. She's pretty big at what she's done. You know, she's managed to stay because it's not easy to stay popular as a reality TV star. It's not easy. You have your one successful season. You might have been the star this season, but you have to really captivate off of that success because once they do another season, you will instantly be forgotten about. But Natalie has been here for about 16 years now. She's been here for almost 20 years. And she's managed to stay popular doing clout chasing shit, exploiting herself, exploiting her marriage. And she's here now with Baddies. She's making a lot of money off of the black women that she exploits on that show. And yeah, so Baddies originally was Natalie and some other Bad Girls Club cast member came up with the idea of Baddies after seeing Blue Girls Club. Now, I remember seeing Blue Girls Club when Blueface came up with the idea. It was during COVID times, but he was at home doing nothing. So he came up with the idea to have a group of girls go into a house, live inside of his mansion, and I guess he was going to be his number one woman, the woman who he might give a record deal label to, who he might give a record label deal to. And it was basically just revolved around these girls again sitting in the house and just fighting. Like it was just trash TV. You thought Bad Girls Club was bad. That shit is like pure trash. It was just women who were, revolved around women who were OnlyFans models, who were Instagram influencers, or who were just trying to find their way out of their circumstances. People like Blueface, they took that and ran with it and exploited these women. So one of the stars who really blew up off of that show was Chrisean Rock. Chrisean Rock is again an quote unquote influencer who was originally a track star. She was originally known for being how athletic she was. She had a lot going for herself until she got with Blueface. I don't know what made her want to go down that path, but yeah, she had a lot going for herself. Now she eventually fucked it up, but that's another video, which I'm probably not even gonna make. But yeah, so yeah. So she saw Blueface. She was like, they're making money off of our shit, something that we done started, something that comes from us. So she got a few girls from Bad Girls Club and was like, hey, let's just make our own. Let's find a production company that will produce our shows. And so it originally started off again like a OnlyFans. It was videos on OnlyFans where her and a couple other bad girls were doing content. Well, like, the typical Bad Girls Club shit, fighting and whatnot. People wasn't really going for that until Lemmy picked it up. Lemmy picked it up. You had the first season, it didn't do too good. You had the second season that skyrocketed. you had your viral moments. You had Krishan putting a girl in the sink. You had her fight with the two other girls. Rolly was also on that show from One More Chance. It just really skyrocketed. It really generated a lot of views. That baddies really put Zeus on the map, and I feel like that's what really generates the most views on Zeus Network. That and Jocelyn Hernandez show, Jocelyn Carabet. So we're not really finna get. I'm gonna just sidetrack this for a second. So let's talk about Natalie Nunn. Natalie Nunn, like I said, she was first introduced to us on the show Bad Girls Club back when I was really a child, like a fucking damn near a toddler. She was first introduced on Bad Girls Club, and Natalie, she's always chased for like she's always been hungry for clout. She knows how to maneuver her way and get what she needs out of people in order to build herself up, and she will spit on people who helped her up in order to move up in the pyramid. You know, she's always been like that. She got so many friends that she fell out with and said, "Hey, you shit on me. You were not a good friend or whatnot." Fortunately, people still dumb enough to befriend her, but that's a whole nother topic. Now, Natalie, back in like the late 2000s and the 2010s, Natalie was a complete white. Natalie was a whole white girl. She was not into that to black culture. She didn't really like gravitate to that side. So let's go back to her Bad Girls Club era. One of the things that really turned fans off about her was not only the things that she said about Rihanna.
Brown's that high. Do you like Chris Brown? No. What do you mean no? He beat up his girlfriend. Why would I like him? Who cares? Because she was a punk bitch. She got her ass beat for a reason. There's no reason to beat a girl. Yeah, Rihanna's crazy. You don't know her. I don't care. You don't hit somebody. She's crazy. You can work everything out.
It was the things that she said about black women.
You're gonna get the ghetto black bitch, and she's gonna punk you all the time. Too black. Her nose looks like a gorilla nose. I'm Puerto Rican, Brazilian, and black. I grew up around like white kids, and so dark-skinned girls never seem to like me.
So you see in the clip, she's calling a black woman a gorilla. She says that she's too dark. She says that she has a gorilla nose, saying very derogatory, hateful, and nasty comments about black women. Mind you, Natalie is half black. She's not white. She has black in her, and you can see like she's half black. But to her, black girls never liked her. She never got along with dark-skinned girls. She grew up all around white people. So that's how she used to feel about black women. Well, not used to. That's how she feel about black women. Let's keep that in mind. Now, again, that was kind of popular during that time because that was like the Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton. That was during that phase where being like a Barbie, a Bratz doll, that was popular at that time. Now, as you get into the late 2010s and the 2020s, you got the whole baddie aesthetic. People loving the black girl image. People have always loved the black girl image. Let's not get that twisted, but people love it a lot more. So that whole baddie aesthetic, that city girl trend, you had the city girls taking off, Megan Thee Stallion. You had upcoming black acts who were really setting the trend and being the forefront of it. So people wanted to get flown out and be a baddie, you know? So fast forward to the 2020 decade. Once that becomes a trend to be a baddie in that black girl aesthetic, she now starts acting like a black girl, like she's hood, like she's from the streets, like she's really about it. Now, when she sees that fighting and specifically black women are the ones that's generating the views, she's like, hey, let me make money off of these people. And, I think that Natalie genuinely goes home and laughs with her husband and her kid and just laughs at how much she's making money off of these women, because Natalie has been saying things like this. Like, she's been saying things like, yeah, I'm making money off you guys. You guys can beat my ass, do whatever the hell. I'm making money off of y'all. That, like, she basically said it. She does not care about anybody. And that's one thing about Natalie. She's a narcissist. She's a Capricorn, by the way. Don't get it twisted. I'm not going to say all Capricorns are narcissists, but one thing about Earth signs, Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorns, they always have this inherent narcissism about them, where they're always trying to mirror what's in front of them. So remember how I said Natalie, back in like the Bad Girls Club, in her Bad Girls Club era, she was acting like a white girl. She was trying to fit the white girl aesthetic into this whole Cali girl voice. I run LA shit. That was the persona that she was trying to put on. She was acting emo and whatnot. Basically trying to act like a white girl. Fast forward to the 2020s, she's hood. She's ghetto. She's a street bitch. Now she wants to be a baddie. Now she's hanging out with all of these black women when years ago, actually not even that long ago, it was just a recording of her saying again hateful things about black women by one of her previous castmates on Bad Girls Club. She released an audio of her basically calling, like, where they're saying Natalie says a lot of racist shit about dark skinned women. Natalie Nunn has not changed. And even when you looked at her apology video, she has no remorse. She still doesn't understand the degree of how hateful her comments are. She doesn't understand that. And I can give her, like, I don't know what Natalie Nunn been through with dark skinned women. I don't know with black women. She might have always had resentment towards them. Maybe her being biracial, maybe left. Like, I'm not trying to like paint her as a victim, but it's always. I don't think that just comes from anywhere. Like, I don't think that she was just born out of the womb and said, "Hey, I want to hate on dark skinned women." It could be any reason. But Natalie is putting on the act, and she's exploiting all of the black women who go on these reality TV shows that it makes money off of them. So now that I got into Natalie, she she doesn't care about black women. And my thing is, black women know this. Black women are 100% aware of the things that Natalie done said about them. They know that Natalie's a colorist. One of her castmates know this for a fact because when one of the people that she casted when she fell out with Natalie, she started posting videos of Natalie being a colorist. She started saying how Natalie doesn't fuck with dark skinned women, but she's back on the show. So it's like, this is what I mean when I say exploiting black people becomes easy because we allow it to happen. Don't get me wrong, people like Lemmy Pepper have been getting backlash for the type of content that they put out of specifically black people, but it's like they know that they can do that because you guys are going to keep watching. When Krishan and her sister fell out and Krishan exposed what her sister allegedly did to her, which includes essaying her and at a young age, that's just crazy. But it was a lot of backlash on there. But I'm like, you guys can complain about that all you guys want. You guys can say whatever the hell you want about that, but they're putting that out there because they know that they can do it. They know that they're going to get away with it because the next week you guys are not even going to talk about it. So it's like they're exploiting you because they know they can do that. And with these reality TV shows like Zeus, Not as TVs, they're finding people who come from these low income environments, people who trying to find a way out of the struggle, trying to make some quick, fast money, or who just want to be on TV. They're finding these people who come from these low income environments and exploiting them and making these people fight and degrading themselves and fucking up their image. And instead of putting out a more positive image of these people who come from these environments and the people who watch it, instead of making these people want better for their lives, want to change and want to know how to manage their money, they're just putting out fight. They're just exploiting these people. But like I said, that's what people are seeking though. So it's like an audience. It's like the audience really needs to take accountability at the same time because that's what people are seeking. When they try to put out positivity, people wasn't going for that. That wasn't generating the most views. But then again, I feel like there's ways to work around that. Like, you can still have your fair share of fights, whatever, drama, but it shouldn't come to this degree. Some of these women on these shows are losing teeth. They're getting black eyes. Some of them are getting put in danger. They're pulling out guns on these shows. It's just crazy. But that's what the audience like. The audience like to see that. And you guys can sit up here and say that, oh, they're making money, they're putting these people on. But let's really think about that for a second. Who's really getting put on? Who's really going to put on in the situation? Yeah, they might pay them a quick $100,000, $25,000, $5,000 or whatnot. That's fast money, okay? Fast money don't last long. As fast as it came, it's as fast as it go. If you don't know how to manage it. Now, let me think about this. Let me just explain this to you. I own a network, a reality TV network, and it's circled around people fighting and drama and arguments. Okay, I pay this one girl $10,000 to come on my show and fight and just degrade her image. Okay, she goes on my show and she degrades herself, she fights, she gives you guys entertainment, what you guys want to see. She's a fan favorite. Okay, she comes back for another season, her bag might be up. She might get paid $15,000, $25,000 to do the same shit. I'm giving her money. She's getting club appearance. She's getting clout off of this. Okay. The moment that that girl loses a fight or she does something that the fans don't like, guess what? She's no longer the fan favorite. People are going to get tired of seeing her. Even if she doesn't do something that people don't like, it's eventually going to get dried out because they're seeing the same thing. She's going to become boring. And guess what? She is not the only person who I can find out here to fight. Like, there's a million different Tasekis out there. There's a million different Mike Tysons out there. So they can find some girl who might be a fan favorite all around the world. So guess what? She ain't the fan favorite no more. Bye. You're off the show. I kick her right off the show. Guess what goes? The money goes. The clout goes. Your fans goes. Your post that was thousands of likes turns into hundreds of likes. The clout and the club appearances, that all skyrockets and it goes. But guess what doesn't go? Your fucked up image doesn't go. Your reputation would now be bad. The people who now view you as ignorant and violent and aggressive, now those people are going to think that it's okay to come up to you and probably start some shit with you. Now people are not going to want to have you in certain rooms because that's the image that you portrayed of yourself. But guess what? The people who own those reality TV show companies, they're still going to be making money. They're still going to be making money because they can always find bigger and better ones than you. So the thing is, they don't teach these girls how to really manage their money and how to get themselves in a better state. They're just exploiting them. And that's all reality TV always has been about. It's not just Zeus Network and Now That's TV and other shows. We can go back to Jerry Springer. For the longest time, it's all been about fights. And when you look at shows like Jerry Springer, it originally started out as people talking about their problems, trying to help and change people. But when they started getting into fights, that's what Jerry Springer decided to do. He decided to make money off of that because that's what the audience wanted to see. You feel me? So it's like, I feel like at the end of the day, we have to take accountability for what we choose to let be our form of entertainment. It's not the people who are publishing it. Again, you can work around that. Like, you can make fun reality TV shows because reality TV shows used to be fun. You could have a show like revolved around a rich family. We could have a black Keeping Up with the Kardashian type of shows. We could have the Rich Kids of LA. We could have a challenger show that's more fun. We can have more love shows. I don't think that those are bad. It's just work around that. But yeah, for the longest time, reality TV show has been exploiting people. So again, as black people, we gotta stop saying no. This is not finna be the representation that we want to put out for ourselves. This is not how we want to show ourselves. This is not the only light that we want to portray ourselves in. Because yes, other races of people do have reality TV shows that are circled around fighting and drama, but they also have a fair share of reality TV show that show a better image of themselves. Black people don't have that balance. We don't have a baddies and also a show that portrays us in a better format, a better way. So we have to start taking accountability for ourselves. We can't always blame these people who are putting this stuff out of us because at the end of the day, that's what they want to see. And every time I see people complaining in the comments and saying how this image is bad for us, this is bad representation, you guys were wrong for putting that out, guess what? They're putting it out because they know they can put it out. That's why. Now, that pretty much wraps up this whole video. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for my next video. I don't really know what it's going to be about. Actually, I do. I have a couple ideas. But I'm going to just be popping out YouTube videos, more cover songs, more commentary videos, and more videos that revolves around social justice and whatnot. But make sure you guys always stay tuned. I'm making moves out here, and I'm going to be getting bigger and better. So you guys have the privilege of being my original fans. But that's it. It's your boy Tariq B. And yeah, have a good one.
White, stay the